got another day in the shop today, another day at work. I can't imagine I'll get a whole lot on camera. It is extremely busy right now as people gear up to finish the work that they're making. It's exciting, a lot of energy, a lot of movement, a lot going on. I'm looking forward to getting back to my own work tomorrow, which will be good. Looking for apartments remains depressing. I don't know how much longer Ontario can survive being under the boot of the Ford Imperium. It's grim out there in this province. Fuck, man. Man, I would love to weave a fucking basket. That would be great. But no, we gotta build an island and put a convention center on it. What a fucking loser. I also picked up another library book, a David Graeber book called Debt, The First 5,000 Years. I've heard good things of both this book and Graeber in general. I'm excited. It should be good. Love a library book. Love to get anti-capitalist books from the library. Feels very on brand. Feels very, very consistent. Very good. But man, I am looking forward to warm weather and the sun. I'm gonna need that warm weather and sun soon. It's real gray out there still, and that makes it feel real gray in here. Anyway, I gotta go. A day of computer work has made me feel insane, so I'm gonna go for a walk to try and reclaim that. So today, instead of going to the shop, I just figured I would work on a piece I started a long time ago and another one where I've set myself up with just hours of weaving, which I do enjoy. I enjoy weaving quite a bit. It can just be mentally taxing to know how much time you're committing to one piece versus how much time you're able to produce other things at the same time and do other kind of activities and admin and live your life, right? Like, making things, especially by hand like this, is incredibly time consuming. And time is a finite resource. So it can be a little, it can be nerve-wracking to commit yourself to something like this. I'm still kind of in like a big unknown portion of my life right now. Not my life, but like of the next few months. Something's gonna have to change because my contract at Sheridan is running out and it won't be renewed. And I knew that going in. So I'm gonna need to find a job somewhere. Initially, I was planning on doing grad school. I think I'd still like to. I think. I don't know. I'm enjoying making things, and I'm concerned that if I take the time to do the grad school, then I won't be able to make things as much. But if I'm just kind of making things seemingly arbitrarily, then where's that getting me? Other than, you know, the joy of making. Which I'm not trying to discredit. It is important, but, you know, you do have to consider material issues like rent and inflating grocery prices and kind of illegal wars that are just going to make everything so expensive. And living in a province and a country that really does not give a shit about the people who live here. If you do live in Canada, it's probably too late for this now, but the NDP convention is happening soon, and it'd be pretty cool if we could have like an actual socialist NDP again. You know, Tommy Douglas was voted greatest Canadian those years ago and was instrumental in a lot of the things that people will claim are like the best parts of Canada. So it'd be pretty cool if we could do that again. But I'm not holding my breath. I know that sounds a little pessimistic, and you know, maybe it is, but I've lived in Ontario my whole life. I do not ever assume the best here. But I think I'm getting a little off topic. This is a side table, bedside table generally, made from spalted maple. It's made from a single board, which was pretty cool. So the actual material costs of it, pretty low. Weaving these shelves with small, thin, narrow burlap or jute cord rather was a dumb idea. This is taking me hours to do. Like I literally started this like probably about 8 months ago, almost a year ago, honestly. I haven't been working on it consistently, but that's mostly because after like 4 hours and maybe an inch of progress, you think, oh no, what have I done? But if I am trying to move, trying to relocate, then I should try to tie up some loose ends. And this is one of those loose ends. I've said multiple times now, I can't just keep making things to just bring them back to my apartment. And this is one of those things I've made and just brought back to my apartment. I should try to finish it, see if there's anybody out there who would want it. I think it's going to be a very successful piece when it's done. Like, I built the frame in a day before I lost shop access last year. And if I think I just took a little bit extra time kind of fine-tuning the details of it, it's something that I could reproduce pretty quickly. I would obviously choose something different to weave with. I also want to just talk about some of the things I've been thinking about lately. I listened and am listening to How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's a climate action book released by Verso. You know, it's a book about the climate, so the first 2/3 of it are really very depressing, deeply troubling. And I'm just about to start the Things You Can Do segment. I don't really want to repeat the things that a book called How to Blow Up a Pipeline recommends, for what I can assume are obvious reasons. It puts what I'm doing into a different perspective, I think. I'm trying to make heirloom quality furniture, as we were told to call it. Trying to make pieces that will last a lifetime. Multiple lifetimes even. You know, heirloom. I've been thinking about the way that craft production, making things by hand in particular, tend to contradict with a lot of the other material conditions that we live with here in Ontario and most of the globe, of, you know, things like the commodity form, the conceit of making something with the express purpose of selling it, not to firstly fill a need, but firstly to sell, to put on the market, and how much I hate thinking that way, but I'm also kind of stuck thinking that way, because those are the conditions that we live in. You know, I would love to only make work for community members when needed, as needed, to fill, you know, slots in people's lives, but unfortunately I can't be doing that right now. I mean, maybe I could be. Maybe I'm just being a coward. It's hard to know. Or maybe it's easy to know, and claiming that it's hard is just a way to avoid responsibility. I don't know. This got darker than I was expecting it to be. I guess to sum up, I've been thinking about what are the responsibilities that I have to contend with as somebody who, you know, claims to be a craftsperson, who claims to value community and want to help the people in my community. Is the fabrication of heirloom quality items enough? You know, like, these aren't like pieces that are going to end up in the landfill anytime soon, I hope. You know, they're supposed to last a lifetime, so am I, you know, when confronted with the conflicting forces of, or I guess, like, when confronted with the conflict of the need to make something, which is kind of foundational to the human experience, and the climate catastrophe that a bunch of weird billionaires have kind of forced us into, how will I navigate that contradiction? And so far, it's like not based on any real guiding principle. It's been more based on how to pay rent, which, you know, I guess that's kind of the point of being a materialist, is sometimes the material reality comes in and supersedes any nice ideas you might have. Just some thoughts, just some things I've been thinking about while I've been intermittently trying to stay caught up on current affairs and alternating with trying not to stay caught up with current affairs, as well as, you know, more mundane everyday concerns of my life. But I'm doing well otherwise. High register conceptual thinking and concerns are one thing, but day to day living that life, I mean, it does feel good to be making stuff. I do really enjoy that. Again, I love weaving. I'm probably going to do this for another few hours. I'm planning on doing some sort of maybe shorter standalone or segment in another upcoming video, just kind of going over, doing a bit more of a formal and considered introduction to myself, the channel, the work I do, and the kind of theories and goals behind that. Been writing that, which also feels good. I've also started really wanting to get into printmaking. I don't know where that came from, but all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I gotta do some 2D prints. It's weird. Life's weird, man. An incredible insight, Dave. Life's weird.